According to the Minamata Convention definitions, fossil fuel use is to be attributed to the source categories where this fossil fuel is actually used. Previously in the toolkit, it was allocated according to a fuel type, which is a kind of substance flow assessment approach. But here we now, in a new version of the toolkit, the January 2017 version and later versions, we have introduced the fossil fuel usage for cement production under the cement category. So what you see here is the inventory level 2 spreadsheet for on the tab 5.3 other minerals and materials, and we look at the calculations for cement production. Yeah. So the top row looks just like it used to be. We state yes, there is cement production without the co-incineration of waste present in the country. That is the normal type if you don't have waste use in your country. You see there's also the pre-entered intermediate input factor. We have no reason to change that in our example. We can use the average data. And we of course need to enter the activity rate. And normally we would put it in this cell because this is the total activity rate for cement production without co-incineration of waste. But with a new feature of including fossil fuels, we instead enter the activity rate, that is still the amount of cement produced, but by primary type of fossil fuel. So let's say in my country we have collected data that say that 30% of the cement production, or rather 300,000 tons in my example, of cement is produced with hard coal, that is anthracite, bituminous coal, or coking coal, sorry. This cement is produced with hard coal as the primary fossil fuel. We also know that there is another production of cement which uses lignite or brown coal, and the production of cement from this facility is 700,000 tons of cement per year. Note that it's not tons of brown coal used, it's tons of cement, and in all cases the allocation here works with tons of cement. Here you see the sum of the different activity rates. We also, of course, have to enter the contribution from the other raw materials used in cement production. And in this case, we have stated the individual contributions here. So we can simply say that it equals the total of these two numbers. So now we have the estimated mercury input for in cement production with the two different facilities here using two different fuels. You see that the fossil fuel contributions of mercury are still relatively minor compared to the other contributions from raw materials. You see that the other aspects as regards cement production are unaltered in the toolkit spreadsheet. We have this distinction between cement production without co-incineration of waste and with co-incineration of waste. And we still have the output scenarios. The output scenarios, as stated here, are concerning the filters used in the cement facilities. And as previously, there are quite some filter contributions to choose from because we also consider whether there is a dust recycling in the filters, meaning that we have many output scenarios, like you see here, even without use of waste as fuel. And you have the same again here with use of fuel. The output scenario work just like they do for other sectors, that you distribute the total activity rate on a different output scenarios. So just by way of example, we have, let's say, 80% of our production is with only simple particle controls on the production of cement and no filter dust recycling. So we say 0.8 times the total activity rate, the total mercury input. And this, please note that the black number here is for without waste, and the red number is for all cement production. So this is the one to choose. So this much mercury of the mercury input from this sub process goes into facilities which only have simple particulate controls. But we only have 80% accounted now. 0.8 means 80%. Whereas we know from our data collection that the remaining 20% of the production is produced in production lines using more advanced particle control filters. And this is the option here. So here I say the remainder of the mercury input goes to this output scenario. So I say the total minus what we just allocated to simple particle control with no filter dust recycling. And so now we see this is the remainder, and this has filter dust recycling. So now we have accounted for all the mercury input to the process, and the results are calculated to the right here as usual. And the red numbers are always the sums for the whole subcategory.